Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today I want to give a little warning here, a trigger warning if you will, before I start my video. If you're someone who's overly sensitive, if you get offended easily, if you're a social justice warrior, if you're someone who likes to call everything racist, you probably shouldn't watch this video. It's probably going to trigger you. So there's your warning. Because I'm about to launch into what I'm sure a lot of people will label as a white racist rant. You know, I'll be that white devil saying racist things, even though nothing I'm going to say is racist. But a lot of people are going to take it that way. I know that before I say it, but I'm still going to say it because it needs said. Because so many people in this country are afraid to say things because they're afraid they'll be labeled a racist, even though what they say isn't racist. If you watched my video yesterday, you know I did a little video talking about how stand your ground laws, there's nothing bad about them. People are trying to demonize them, but they're all good. They basically just say you don't have a duty to retreat. They do not justify shooting anyone when you wouldn't normally be justified to shoot someone. So they are not bad. But I got a lot of emails from people and comments on the video saying, how can you support these? These disproportionately affect black people. Stand your ground laws just give white people a blank check to shoot black people. It puts more black people in the ground. They say that they're surprised I support that because I'm a little bit left of center on a lot of things. I'm a classical liberal. I judge everything on the merit of the argument, not on dogma of religion or politics or anything like that. So they're like, how can you support this? We didn't think you were one of those right-winger gun nuts. Well, I'm not a right-winger gun nut. And to those people who say that stand your ground laws are racist and that they'll put more black people in the ground, well, you're partially right. They will put more black people in the ground than they will white people. If more people are able to defend themselves against violent criminals, that will disproportionately affect black men. Because black men commit crimes at a higher rate than white people, a much higher rate. That's just a reality. That's just a fact. That's not racist. It's just a fact. I'm not saying they commit those crimes because they're black. I'm saying that black men tend to commit more violent crimes. It's just a statistical number, a fact. So yes, stand your ground laws. If people are actually defending themselves in states that have stand your ground laws, more black men will go into the ground because more black men will be committing those crimes. But when I make a law that says, hey, if someone violently attacks you, you don't have to run away, you can defend yourself up to and including deadly force, that's not a racist thing. Unless I am basing this on race or using it as a way to target a race, it's not racist. It will affect one nationality, one color, one whatever more than it will others, but that's true of everything. Anything you do is going to have a little bit more or a little bit less of effect on one race or another, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing. And it so happens in the case of violent crimes, like I said, black men commit more violent crimes, so more black men will be suffering the consequences of their actions. It's still not racist. If it is racist, you'd be saying, well, you can shoot black men when they attack you. Or if your attacker is black, then you need less justification to do it. That would be racist. But just saying if someone violently attacks you, you don't have to retreat, you can defend yourself. It in itself is not racist, but I do agree it will disproportionately affect black men because they're committing most of those crimes. And here's the thing, the racist part is pretending like it's racist to say that. That's racist. If you want to skew numbers or ignore facts because of someone's race, that's racist. And that is something I don't like to do because it prevents you from actually solving a problem. The problem is, why are more black men committing violent crimes? You know, it's not sexist if I say most violent crimes are committed by men. That's just reality. It's not sexist. And admitting that most of those crimes are committed by black men, disproportionately high numbers of black men, that's not racist either. It's just realistic. What you have to do is say, why is this happening? Why is this a fact? It isn't because black people are worse or inferior or more violent or any of those things. A baby is not born bad. It's not born more likely to be violent or more likely to be a criminal because of its genetics or the color of its skin or its nationality, what imaginary borders it's born behind. None of those things affect whether a child becomes bad. What affects it is society, environment, culture. Those things are what cause this. So when you refuse to admit, hey, these laws that hold criminals responsible, especially violent criminals, disproportionately affect black men, when you pretend like that's racist, you're actually being racist because you're trying to deny a fact based on someone's race. Instead of saying, hey, why is this happening? Why are black people being more prone to grow up and commit violent crimes? You have to start looking at the real problems. It isn't the color of their skin, like I said. They have very few opportunities often. They're often poor. A larger percentage of the poverty-stricken people in this country are black. Poverty affects black people at a higher disproportionate rate than does white people. I'm not saying there's not poor white people. I was a poor white person. I was poor as hell. I was trailer trash. It happens. Some people were born into that. And that environment could have made me go bad. And it did a lot of my family members. A lot of my family members are nowhere near where they should be in their life because of a lot of bad choices they made when they were younger, because they were poor, they were despondent, they felt like they didn't have any chances in life. That affects people. It's society, it's culture, etc. So we have to admit that black people will be affected more by these tough on crime laws. And then we have to say, why is that? Since we know it's not because of race, it's because they don't have opportunities in general. They don't have chances for good employment. They're raised in an environment where violence is prevalent. In an inner city, you're more likely to be a poor person or a black person in an inner city. And in those environments, you have to, band up with other people, gangs, to be protected. It's hard to be safe just walking down the street. You end up getting involved in little crimes just to survive or defend yourself that spiral into more crimes because you get caught carrying an illegal pistol because you got to protect yourself on some dangerous streets. That spirals into more crimes. You get caught smoking pot or something else because, you live a pretty desolate life with very few joys in it. And then that spirals into more crimes. And that does disproportionately affect poor people and especially poor black people. So being racist is denying all that and not trying to solve the problems. A person who isn't racist admits, hey, this is affecting this race more than it is others. This race is falling into this trap more often than other races are. Why is that? What do we need to do? Well, we don't need to start being soft on crime or trying to change reality and say, oh, this isn't true. We need to see what is wrong. What do we need to do? Do we need better after-school programs in inner cities? Do we need better assistance for people to get educations and better themselves? Not just kids, but the adults that live in these situations. Do we need better job opportunities in cities? Do we need better housing opportunities? Do we need health care? Do we need all these things? What would actually help solve the problem? You can't solve this problem by saying, let's just give this to black people. That just perpetuates the problem and causes more division. You have to say we're going to be determined that every person, regardless of the color of their skin or where they live, they have an opportunity to go to a good school. They have an opportunity to get an education. They have an opportunity to get a job. They have an opportunity to live the American dream. They have the privilege of walking down safe streets and living a safe life with the necessary programs and structures there that give them the opportunity to better themselves. Everyone who wants to. That's what you have to say. When you see something like this and you're like, oh, it's going to affect black people more, it's racist. That's bullshit. The racism is not solving the real problems, the problems that you ignore. That's the racism. There is nothing racist about guns. There is nothing racist about defending yourself, and there is nothing racist about prosecuting crimes. If that is affecting one race more than it is another, then you have to look at the root causes of why that's so. And if you're not doing that, if you're trying to give people a pass because of the color of their skin, or try to alter the reality of the situation, making people unsafe because you don't want to appear racist, well, then you're actually probably a racist.